This morning's briefing from the Africa CDC, and we are coming to you from the headquarters of the African Union in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. It's a happy day for us here because we celebrate the day on which the African Union was formed in 2002, and that happened in Durban. So today is African Union Day, so happy African Union Day wherever you may be. My name is Wayne Musabayana. And in the studio today, we have, as usual, Dr. John Nkengasong, who is the Director of Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, to give us that all-important overview of the situation of COVID-19 across the continent, and also to provide some advice as to how we can best navigate and defeat this pandemic together. And so when we come as usual, please use that WhatsApp number, 551-94550-2310. That is 550-2310. You're also welcome to join us online, live answer section. For now, let me hand over to Dr.
Thank you, Wayne. Things from the African Union. Africa would like to share updates on the COVID-19 situation on the continent, and it includes what we are doing in terms of the responses to support member states. I'll do three things. First of all, look at the epidemiological situation of COVID on the continent, and then discuss what we are doing to support member states, and conclude, as usual, with the updates on the vaccine and vaccination situation. So first, let's start with the epidemiological situation. First, as of today, September 9, the African Union member states have reported the following. A total of 7.9 million cases of COVID-19 have been reported, and this accounts for 3.6% of the global total. The total recovery rate is 7.2 million people. That is out of the 7.9 million. Unfortunately, about 201,000 people have died from this infection across the continent. A couple of countries are up to about 64% of the total. This includes South Africa with 36%, Morocco 11%, Tunisia 9%, Libya and Ethiopia 4% each. "76 countries, or 42 countries, 76% of our member states, or 42 countries, are now experiencing a third wave. And 31 of those member states, which represents 74%, are actually experiencing a wave. The definition of a severe wave is where the peak of the daily case actually is higher, significantly higher than what we saw in the second wave. One more country has been added to the list of the countries that are experiencing a third wave, and that is Gabon. 6 countries, unfortunately, are now entering their fourth wave. That include Algeria, Benin, Kenya, Mauritius, Somalia, and Tunisia. In terms of 43 member states in Africa have now reported the presence of the Alpha variant. 37 countries are now reporting the presence of the Beta variant. 36 countries are now reporting the presence of the Beta variant. And Togo is the latest addition to be reported. If we now look at the trends, as we always do, we look at the trends over the last 1 week and also over the last 4 weeks, and the week between 30th of August and September the 5th. A total of 165 new cases have been reported over the last week, then we had this conversation. And this represents a 22% decrease from the previous week. In terms of deaths, a total of 4,600 new deaths have been recorded over the same period compared to the previous week. And this represents a decrease of 13% if we compared the deaths this week and those from last week. If we now look at the 4 weeks trends, that is the period between 9 August and 6 September, we have seen an average decrease of 11% in new deaths. If we look at the respective regions, we have the following observations in terms of breakdown: 4% increase in Central Africa, 1% increase in East Africa, 14% decrease in North Africa, 13% decrease in South Africa, and 1% decrease in West Africa. We have now observed a 7% average decrease in new deaths over the last weeks. That is the last 4 weeks. In terms of testing, the continent has conducted a total of 68 million tests. And last week alone, 1.4 million tests were conducted. However, that represents a slight decrease of 4% if you compare the number with last week. A cumulative positivity rate across the continent stays at 11.7%, with a test per case ratio of 8.6. 11% of our members of 6 countries are reporting a high positivity rate above 12%. So let us now discuss the vaccine. As of today, a total of 145.4 million doses of COVID vaccines have been procured across the continent. And of that number, 111,000 have actually been used or administered. And that a percentage of about 77%. Very encouraged with that. In terms of the number of people that have been fully vaccinated, 3.18% of our population have received 2 doses of the vaccines, which meets our definition of a full coverage. A certain number of countries are making remarkable progress. Morocco has administered full vaccines in 44% of its population that is fully vaccinated. That is the 2 doses there. South Africa has fully administered 15.9% of its vaccines. Egypt, 3.6%. Tunisia, 15%, and Zimbabwe, 11%. And these are those who have full coverage out of the population of an eligible target. I'm happy to announce that Burundi has now applied through the AVAT mechanism to secure vaccines. So now we are only left with Eritrea. In terms of the AVAT distribution, that is the African Vaccine Acquisition Testing, new deliveries will now continue. Remember, we had the first set of deliveries. The next set of delivery will start soon with Nigeria, Egypt, Liberia, Ethiopia, Congo, Sudan, Namibia, and Africa, and of course, the African Union Commission received its vaccines last week. 6 Caribbean countries have now received their vaccines: Antigua, Barbados, Bahamas, Belize, Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. All record the African Union platform, AVAT, has been securing vaccines in support of these countries as well. In terms of donation, Denmark has donated 1 million doses of vaccines, and they've all been distributed in or supplied Algeria and Morocco. I think that brings us to the end of this briefing for today. When I'll come back to you so that you can coordinate the question and answer session.
Thank you very much. That was Dr. John. I am just receiving questions. First ones are coming from our WhatsApp platform, and we go to Eswatini from Bonisile Makubu, who says the number of people who are using ivermectin is growing. What are the dangers of using this drug? And the drug that she's talking about is ivermectin.
Yeah, I think we have issued a statement since last year concerning that the use of ivermectin, that a drug that we endorse. I mean, all drugs have to go through proper clinical trials with two main objectives. One is to ensure that they are safe, and two is to ensure that that they are efficacious against the treatment of that the disease, more generally speaking. And for COVID, as we have discussed on this platform, we have not seen enough clinical trial data that would suggest that Africa recommend the use of ivermectin for treatment of COVID-19 cases.
All right, thank you. We go back to our WhatsApp platform, and the next question is from Sarah Jerving, and Sarah is with Devex. So she says, Seychelles has the highest percentage of fully vaccinated people on the continent. So does it now lead the continent in terms of infections?
I think Sarah, we have discussed this previously, and Seychelles is not the only country in this situation. We see what is happening in Israel, what is happening in the United States. If you've the vaccines, first of all, again, the vaccines do not prevent infection. They prevent disease progression, severe